Hello, my friend. Have you ever gone silent when it mattered most? Walked away from a conversation only to think, why did I say that? Or feel like your message just got completely lost in translation? Well, you're not alone and you are in the right place. Welcome to Breaking Bad Communication, where we challenge the habits, headspace, and hangups that keep you from being heard and understood. My name is Kathy Riley. I'm your communication strategist. I'm the founder of the Clarity Code and your guide with over 25 years experience in the courtroom and then another 15 as an entrepreneur, a speaker, and a trainer. This podcast is your real world playbook for mastering tough conversations, building unshakable confidence, and showing up with the kind of clarity that changes everything from boardrooms to break rooms to your own backyard. So put your seatbelt on, my friend. We are going to break bad together. And I'm super excited to have a guest here today because who needs to hear from me anymore? We're going to hear from Miss Bethany George. So here you go. You want to hear about her. Looking for the purple hair and clothing? Well, that's Miss Bethany George, the founder of The Follow Up Boss and the Sales Mystique. She loves to bring a unique look and fresh perspective to traditionally stale spaces like sales and networking. Over the last 3 decades of trying and at times failing to navigate the world of professional relationships, she finally discovered a vital element that no one had taught her. Her unique personality was central to how she was able to relate and grow professionally. This breakthrough became the foundation for what she now teaches and calls her trust styles. Please welcome Miss Bethany George. Yay!
Hey!
So glad to have you here, my friend.
I'm excited. I always love chatting with you anyway, so I think we're gonna have a good time.
I know. And I gotta ask, the purple is why? What's the sass behind the purple?
I think it's just because it's always a fun color. Like you can't look at purple and just not feel like a smile and feel warmth, and it's different. It does make clothing shopping a little more challenging trying to find purple. But every time I see purple, every time I find purple, it just feels right.
It makes you happy.
Yes, yes.
Oh, I love that. And it's funny because when I met you, that was like the first thing I was like, "Oh my God, it's so sassy. I love it." So for those of you that are driving that are listening to it, check us out on YouTube because you're going to want to see this lady. She is beautiful and sassy with her purple. So, all right, let's dig in here. So, Bethany, you say sales doesn't have to feel awkward, sleazy, or scripted. All right, but for so many people, it still does. What's the biggest communication myth we've been taught about sales that needs to die already?
I love the way you put that. Yes. I would say, quite simply, is stop trying to do sales or business in general the way someone else told you to. Like you can't put yourself into a box. What works for someone else, it's like those that the skinny jeans that they can put on and you're like, well, they look amazing on you, and then you put them on yourself and you're like, what is no. Everything's just wrong. That's how a lot of times sales feels. It just feels like you're putting on someone else's jeans and it just feels wrong.
So are you referring to like a lot of people give us scripts?
hmm hmm
And so
I'm
what, yeah, expand on that, please.
I'm not a fan of scripts at all. Now, we'll talk about personality and how that plays into it. And I do know that there are some people who are like, I need some foundation. I need some kind of, guidance. And in that case, we will create something for them. But to have someone else's script, gosh, I've used them so many times over the years. And even my own like elevator pitch, which is that like 2, 3 sentence how to describe what I do. I've had this business coming up on 6 years and I change it all the time. Like it's just constantly evolving. So that's how your script should be. It should be a living element of what you do and how you serve your clients, not the stuffy, let me tell you these specific talk points because someone said if I use this word at this place, it will make someone's brain click.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
I love that. And I got to tell you, I've been an entrepreneur since my daughter was 1. So she is 20 now. So that tells you it's only been a few years. Um, and I got to tell you that the scripts help, but it wasn't until I shifted my verbiage to be more Kathy-like that I found success.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
So incorporating personality styles and all of that, which that leads us into the sales archetype system
Yeah.
that you created. Talk to us a little bit about that.
I have always been a studier of people. Uh, I I I don't know if it came from, I was grew up as a young kid that was kind of that quirky, weird kid, and I never really understood why some people were always popular and I was the oddball out. But I would like study people and be trying to figure out what makes them tick. And it's served me so well over the years. So even early in my sales, when I would call somebody up, I did some direct selling early on. So that's that. Make a list of
Mhm.
everyone you know, call them up, have coffee, try to pitch them kind of stuff.
Right?
I would watch their body language. I'd watch their facial expressions as I would shift the conversation from, "Hey, how you doing? Let's get caught up," to, "I have a new business. Let me tell you all about it." And that body language shift told me everything I needed to know. They were
Mhm.
not prepared for that usually. And it it really negatively affected my ability to sell because I was like, they don't want this. They weren't prepared for this mentally. And I had to learn how to do it differently. But that kind of psychology, and I've always studied personalities and so there's a certain process that I've always really enjoyed. For people who may have be a personality junkie like myself, you've probably heard of DISC, DISC.
Yes, ma'am.
And that one is just, it lives in my head. I've learned it as birds. I've learned it as colors. I've just learned it as like over the years, so many different ways. And so I have been able to look at someone and say, oh, I can see you're this personality and this personality. But the thing that always frustrated me about just disc straight up is all it was these four core styles. And I'm like, nobody is one of them. We're all some kind of weird blend.
Mhm.
And I finally was like, I want to better understand what those blends look like. And for the last 6 years, as I've been working with clients on how to sell, which is a relationship skill, I've always customized it to them. I don't have a cookie cutter, this is how you sell, which is related to why I don't necessarily teach scripts. I get to know them and I say, okay, who are your people? How do you connect with them? How do they learn to trust you? And that's when I realized there's these trust styles and different trust styles guide the conversation differently. And that's where like the light bulb came on for me and I'm like, this is the thing that people need to understand. So,
I love that because we all know people do business with people they know, like, and
yes.
trust. So, how do we build trust, create trust? And we it doesn't have to take years or months. It could be minutes that
Yeah.
we could build that trust.
Mhm.
So, what would you say is a mistake that people, like Breaking Bad, um, what's a mistake that people make that we need to change when it comes to trying to build that trust and failing miserably? And what would
That's,
they should do instead?
yeah. And so I'll kind of give you two because the one I sort of already said was stop trying to be somebody else. Um,
Ah,
that is the first and foremost. And
okay.
I think if we have time, I could tell you a story about a sales position I had where I learned that one really strong. But that just stop trying to be somebody else. if you have a big, bold, fun personality, which me and Kathy have a bit of, um, it, sometimes I don't know, Kathy, have you ever been told that you're a little too much?
A few times, yes.
So that's a really, especially for kind of our personality style, we're oftentimes told you're too much. And in entrepreneurship at least, that's actually one of our greatest superpowers
Yes.
is just, being that fun, exciting personality because it excites other people, it draws them out of their comfort zone. But then there are other types of people that are more reserved, more quiet. But their superpowers is that because they're quiet, people draw in more to understand, like, ooh, what do you know? And they know um, that you're not, those quiet people aren't going to be trying to like trick them into something. So, a quick example of this as there was a friend of mine a few years ago came to me, we had coffee, and she was telling me about some of the challenges she was having in her business. And she's one of these very quiet, reserved personalities. And she was in a very heavily commoditized industry. She was in insurance. And she said, Bethany, am I just always going to be terrible at sales? And I said, not at
Mm.
all. I was like, you're actually really well positioned because she wanted to work with a certain niche of people that tends to get overlooked and or talked down to. But she wanted to go in and she wanted to educate them. She wanted to help them understand what their options were. She would sit down with them and be like, let's look at what you need. Let's talk this through. And she'd answer all of their questions without judgment, without criticizing them. And that trust that she built created loyal customers that just, I mean, they will never leave her.
Mm. I love that. So, okay, you said so there's two things, and I want to make sure that I understand that the first one was stop being someone else. What was the second thing?
Um, where was I going to go with that second one?
So we were
Um,
talking about the mistakes that
yeah,
we're making, right? And building that trust.
yeah.
Stop being somebody else.
Stop being
And
somebody else. And stop trying to make something happen before it's ready.
ooh, that's happened before it's ready.
And
Oh, I love that. I love
in
that.
business, we're most we do this, romantic relationships are the same thing.
Yep.
Um, and in business, those are both two really good examples of times when we're trying to make something happen before it's time, before it's developed into what it's going to become. Uh, and if you rush it, it will usually just die.
I get that. And I often tell this with my coaching clients and things like that is when, the relationship you build and you can build like that, know, like, and trust, but that doesn't mean they're going to move, through that ladder, through your process. So I think of it like a relationship, like dating. Like you're not going to go on the first date and then get married,
Yes.
right? You've got to continue building that. So it's going to take multiple touches. And I know there's a lot of people in the audience that are sitting there thinking, well, I'm not an entrepreneur, I'm not a CEO, but you'd be amazed at how many people are thinking, okay, I need a second job, I need to start a business, maybe I can bring in 1,000 here or something, a couple grand in this other way, and you have that multiple streams. And home-based businesses right now are huge, especially
Yeah.
with the way the economy is. So I think this conversation we're having, Miss Bethany, is so important because there's a lot of us that, we work our 9 to 5, we do our thing,
Mhm.
and then when we put a CEO hat on, it's completely different. So the conversations we're having are very, very different. So if you're listening and you're either in your own business or thinking about starting lean into this conversation because this is super powerful. Super powerful. And Miss Bethany here is an expert. So let's talk about like the sales a little bit. There's a lot of people that just feel icky when it comes to sales. What do
Yes.
you say to them? And what's one thing they can do to stop feeling so icky?
Mhm. I love to demystify the sales process for people. And when you understand what's happening when someone's buying, when someone's interested in buying something, it it makes it so much easier. I'll give a real quick, I actually was just sharing this um earlier today with a group and it really seemed to land. So I talk about the three buying stages.
Mhm.
And where this is really helpful is you can see where the relationship development happens. When we talk about sales, most of the time we're talking about the middle stage, and because we get to this sales conversation. What is it that you're looking for? This is what I do. This is how I can help you. This is how much it costs. That's a sales conversation. And people don't think of sales happening until that conversation. It it feels better when it happens organically. Someone literally comes to us and says, "Oh my God, I've been looking for you my whole life. I have this huge problem. You have to help me." Uh, it that can only happen if we've guided the conversation.
Okay.
Right. So the first stage is called curiosity, curious, the curious stage. And this is when they're like, "Okay, I sort of have a problem. I'm not really sure what to do about it. And I'm going to start exploring." So they might be researching, I'm going to give you a relatively clear example. I'm currently car shopping right now.
Okay.
In the amount of research I've been putting into which car that I want. So I'm in the curious stage. I'm really trying to understand, okay, this is what I need. I need to be able to put my kayaks on top. I don't need to carry 7 people anymore, so I'm downgraded from my minivan. I want it to be a little more gas efficient, but I'm not ready to go down to a sedan. Like, so there's all these little nuances of things. I'm not ready to go buy yet. Um, so I'm exploring options. Here shortly, I'm going to go start looking and driving some cars to make a choice which one. When I go and do that, I'm going to be moving into what's called the interested stage. And the interested
Okay.
stage is where I said, okay, I know what my problem is. I'm relatively clear on the solution, and I'm going to go see if this is right. And so I'll go and I'll try on cars and I'll talk to salespeople. And so if I show up at a car lot, and this has happened to me in the past, and I get a pushy salesperson, that's not who I'm buying from.
Mhm.
I will choose who I buy from as much as I choose the car.
Mm.
And that's part of this exploratory process. If the customer knows what they want and need, they are looking who am I purchasing it from? So they might come to you to say, "Are you the one I want to buy it from?" Or they might come to you because they're like, "I kind of know, but I need an expert to explain it to me."
Mm.
And if they're saying that, they may also not yet, they still are still not curious. Let's explore the problem. Let's explore the solution. So, and the reason that's important is because if you're like a potential pushy car salesperson, that you like, I walk onto the lot and I'm like, okay, so this is what I'm looking for. I need a vehicle that has roof racks. It's a little bit smaller than my minivan that has a little bit better gas mileage. And they go, oh, let me go show you over here this pickup truck. No, that's not what I wanted. Oh, but we have a great deal on it right now. Like if you start trying to make me or I'm like, this is my budget. And they're like, oh, okay, but well, this car, I know it's a little higher budget, but like, here's all these. That's not what I asked for.
Mhm.
You have to listen in that curious stage. Yes. And that's the really important part about the curious stage. If you recognize that someone's in that curious stage, your most important thing is to listen.
Oh, say that again, please. Please.
Yes. If you're not listening while they're in that stage, you're not going to find out how much do they know about their problem, how much they already believe about the solution. What do you need to educate them on? If
Mm.
they're 50% decided on the solution or only partially understand what is involved in the problem, and you start trying to jump into this is what I do, this is how much it's going to cost, this is what the time's going to take. They're like, "What I don't that seems like too much money and too much time." They don't understand what is actually involved.
Mhm.
So you have to listen. The curious stage more than anything else is about listening. And
Oh, so good.
yeah, especially in communication, right? Like that's such a
Uh-huh.
yep, yes. So then we, like I said, they get in the interested stage. That's usually when they're starting to say, okay, how much is this going to cost me? What is this going to look like? They haven't said yes. They're still like, okay, give me some details. Let me know some logistics. Hopefully they're leaning in. If they start to lean
Mhm.
back, you slow down. Or
Oh,
you
I
can
like
listen
it.
for it in their voice. You can listen again, paying attention. What are they telling you? Are they asking questions that truly it says, tell me more? Are they starting to sound like they're looking for an excuse? Which means slow
Mm.
down. I'm not sure. I'm not clear. Um, and those are clues why when people go like, I don't know how to close, my close aren't isn't great. I talk to lots of people and they seem interested, they say yes, and then they never sign the proposal. You missed something. There was something they were
Yeah.
telling you. They weren't clear, they weren't ready, or something else is going on.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So it's not just listening, but it's also asking questions.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
not only are, they're curious, right? So they're in the curious state, they're in the interested state, which is when you get in there. So now your job then should be to get curious.
Yes.
Oh, love that.
Yeah.
Love that. All right. So the curious, that's right, the three buying stages, the curious, the interested, and the third is
Committed.
committed. All right. So talk to us about that.
Well, this was really fun. For some businesses, this may be as simple as, all right, what do I need to do to purchase? Give me a link to click, give me a thing to sign. It may be like that. And now they move into onboarding and the client process. Um, for some businesses, though, that's a much longer process. So every business needs to know what their committed stage looks like. The best example of this, I mean, car buying is kind of similar. There's a little bit of a lengthy, but mostly it's sitting in the dealership for a couple hours. Right?
Eh,
House buying has the best example of this. You buy when you're out hunting for a house, you're looking at houses, you're looking, and you finally say, okay, I think this is the one. I'm going to submit a bid. So you submit a bid and it gets accepted. You're now in the committed stage. But how long does it take to close a house? Like a
mm,
month if sometimes longer. And all the things that can go wrong during that stage. They have to do an inspection and you have to get all the financial stuff set up and all these things. So that 30 to 60 days doesn't mean the deal's done. Your job is not done. What can you do to help them understand the process? You have to continue communication. I've heard from realtors who've said they know people in their industry who once a bid is submitted, they walk away from that client until closing day because they're busy off with new
ah.
clients. I'm like, they ain't done. They're stressing out. They're starting to, box stuff up. And then if something falls through, they're going to panic. This is so emotional. You have to be there with them through
Yeah.
the process.
Oh, I love that. I love the perspective on this because I think that's the missing link in a lot of business is getting that stage two and three, right? Into knowing that it's not over until it's over. And quite honestly, any client, it should never really be over, right?
Yeah.
You don't just sit there, I'm done. I sold you this. All right. You,
Mhm.
you buy a car, you're getting emails, you're talking about maintenance and tires and all of that. Same is true for any other industry.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. So good. Okay, my friends, are you listening to this? Are you listening to this? Because Miss Bethany here is laying down some gold. It's laying down some gold, so you guys need to be picking this up. And if you're liking what you're hearing, please subscribe and share this. Share this with somebody who you know needs to hear this. So the three stages, just recapping, because I believe as part of communication, it's good to We want to solidify this in people's noodles, right? Is to get curious, right? They are curious. They're doing their research. They're figuring out, okay, this is one of the problems I have. This is something I need. Motivation for people, it's either a carrot or stick, right? So what does
Mhm.
that look like? So they're curious. They're figuring it out. They're now interested. That's when they start checking you. So now where you're dating, you're having a conversation. You're doing that, right? So you're then you with as the business owner, the person that wants the one that wants to date the other one, right? You're now getting curious, asking questions, figuring out what is their need, what do they want. Really, really figuring out, what is it, right? Is it a good fit, right? And then it's the committed stage, that it's like now we're checking off boxes and the details and the follow up and just the continued conversation and the gratitude, right? That this is a good thing. It's good for you, it's good for me, it's happiness together. Does that sound fair?
Yes.
Was there anything you would add to that?
I'll add one point, just I'll give a quick example of for people who are in more service-based businesses. That committed stage, one thing that I hear more often, probably one of the biggest questions, is if I send a proposal to somebody and now I get crickets, what do I do?
Mhm.
And yes, follow up, absolutely. But for the love, do not send a just checking in email. Uh,
Ooh. Okay, okay. I get that a lot. I receive that a lot.
mhm.
What is the verb? Words matter. What is some good words? There you go, grammar, Kathy. What are some good words, some phrases that we could use
Mhm.
that's actually going to, what I call captivate, connect, and convert, right? The three
Yeah.
C's. Like, how are we going to go from crickets to connection?
Yeah. Well, it's really important that you were listening. We talked about earlier in that interested stage. What did they tell you what was that the thing that they wanted solved? Why did that want it solved? What was like you need to pull into those things. The other part is creating clarity because if they're hesitating, there's a good chance there's still some lack of clarity. Are they very clear on what happens when they click that button, when they sign that contract, whatever it is, the next step you gave them? And please tell me you gave them a next step, because if you didn't give them a next step, they ain't going anywhere. It's your job
Right.
as the business owner to give them that next step. And so the email, instead of the checking in email, the email, you can create kind of a series of almost like a drip sequence of sorts, but coming from
Hmm.
your personal inbox, that are here's some additional information to provide some clarity to help you know what happens next. It might be describing what will be the thing that happens immediately after they start with you, or what is something they can do between now and then to prepare, or what are questions that your clients typically ask of you. Like, just there's things in your industry that you know, and if you can create, 3 to 5 of these emails, short, simple, not complicated, not lengthy, and so when you're waiting for that, you're waiting for someone to sign the contract or do the thing, you just let me drop you this. Let me drop you this. And what it does is it brings it back to their attention. It provides clarity for them. And so it kind of creates a little bit of like a natural ticker of like, oh, there's another reminder email. Oh, but it's gentle, it's relationship. It's like, oh, she helped me answer that one and that one. So much better than just checking in.
Oh, just checking in. Another word that I hate, and I use AI, guys. AI is a tool, right? A chatty G. I've said this before. Chatty G is my friend, and I'll put in the just following up. Can we please remove that from our verbiage?
Yes.
Would you agree? I mean, is
Yes.
that so like
Yes.
how to tune somebody out?
Yes.
Use
It
that
says
word.
that email is about you, not them. The email needs to be about them.
Oh, say that again. Say that again.
The email has to be about them. And if it is about you, why should I even answer?
Oh, this is so good. That's right. And when you say just following up, you're on my list of to-dos today. So I'm just checking my box.
Yes. Why haven't you done something? I'm over here waiting for you.
Ah,
And that's exactly how it feels when you open that email and you're like, ugh, okay, versus like the emails I mentioned. Oh, did you know? I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Thank you. I appreciate that information. That really helps provide a lot of clarity.
yeah. Oh, and when last we spoke, you mentioned blah, blah, blah. Have you seen this article? Or
Yeah.
have you seen this? Or would you like to come with me here, right? Or create an invitation, bring the value.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, this is so good. This is so good. This is so good. Okay. So I wanted to switch gears just a hot minute and say, networking.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, if you guys aren't watching this, just the body language is awesome. She's happy. So, talk to us a little bit about networking strategies. Let's first of all break bad. What's one mistake people make networking that they need to break bad? And what would be a strategy that they could replace it with?
Yeah. So stop doing this. Hi, my name's Bethany. Here's my business card. I'd love to work with you if you need insurance. Here, hold on to this.
It doesn't work.
No, gosh. I tell my clients networking is actually one of my favorite things. And it's actually one of the reasons I initially started this business because I saw so many people with no training in networking. These organizers of these networking events, they like create an event and they invite a whole bunch of business people from an area and they throw everyone into a room thinking that they'll know what to do. And most of them don't. So they walk around pushing business cards into people's hands and thinking, okay, well, I spent an hour and I got rid of 50 cards. I'm sure I'll have some calls. And the phone does not ring.
Right.
Um, I I have business cards. I say it like that for a reason because my business cards are an exchange for yours. I want your business card. When I walk into a room, my goal is to find 2 to 3 really interesting people. That is my goal. 2 or 3. That is because I know that I'm not going to sell to everyone in this room. No matter how hard I try, no matter how fabulous my product or service, I know, like, and trust people. Know, like, and trust. You can't do that in a 5-second conversation in a loud after hours chamber event.
Hmm.
Um, so I will go and I will walk around and I'll have conversations with people. And at some point, I'll say, oh, do you have a business card? Are you on LinkedIn? I'd love to connect with you, have a further conversation. And I get their business card. I'm now responsible for continued communication. I now have their contact information. And I would go home with, and I actually grabbed this because I get lots of business cards from people.
You should
Um,
see the stack I have as well.
I'm really good at it. So I'll come home with my, stack of business cards from that event, but I'll remember that 2 or 3 that I'm like, these are the people that I enjoyed my conversation with, that I want to continue with, whether I think they'll be a client, maybe we can collaborate together like Kathy and I are doing here. Who knows what's potentially available, but it isn't going to happen unless I enjoyed the conversation. So that is actually the first. So the no like and trust, I actually love to say it's like no trust. So I have to like them
Oh,
first. There has to be a vibe we kind of get on with each other. And then if I will get to know them. Let's have a call. Let's understand what's your business? Who do you serve? What can I do to support you? How can we develop this? And in that no, I'm listening. I'm trying to understand what I can do to support them, but I'm also dropping little hints of what my expertise. I want them to know me as the expert in sales and networking and personalities, like whatever it is. I give those little tidbits. And so I can build trust. So it's all about use your card only as a swap for theirs, and be much more strategic with who you're connecting with.
Oh, my goodness. This is awesome. I wish I would have learned this 20 years ago when I first started my own business because I did networking wrong. Nobody really teaches this.
Oh,
They don't. That's why this podcast, having you here is so important. Having this conversation is so important because nobody teaches this. Like oh, I'm supposed to go out there and pass out, here's business cards, right? You signed up, you're going to be part of this program. Great, I'm a CEO, I'm doing this. I got all these cool business cards here. Pass them
yes,
out.
yes. Can I
Crickets.
tie this into to what we talked about earlier?
Yes, please.
Because what's really cool, it's I talked about the trust styles, and we haven't gone into that too deep yet, but the personality stuff, right? Uh,
Yeah.
knowing one thing that's really amazing is when I'm working with people and helping them understand what their personality is, what I call the trust styles. I help them understand what that is. I can tell them where to network and why that's so different than somebody else. Me and Kathy can walk into a completely different room than my more reserved or what I call listener styles. They need a different type of room. And there are so many networking options out there. There is a networking style for everybody, but you don't know which one's the right one for you. And where matters just as much as who you're meeting.
Okay, say that last line one more time.
The where that you network is just as important as the who that you're going to meet.
So powerful. And it's just and I work with some, some speakers, right? And entrepreneurs and all. And here's the thing, where are you spending time? Are those people having the problem you solve?
Mhm. Mhm.
Because if they're not, if dentists are not your ideal client, you shouldn't be going to the dental conference.
Yes, yes,
Come on, man.
yes.
Come on, man. But it's, we think, and God knows I did. That was the mistake. Like my first couple years in business, I was ignorance on fire. I was just, they said go network. So I was doing these diva groups, right?
Mm,
Women and I'm doing all this stuff and I was burnt out, exhausted, and the business was not growing because
yeah,
I was in front of the wrong people.
yeah.
And I liked everybody. We
Yeah.
liked each other. We didn't really get to know each other, and
Mhm.
we definitely never built trust.
Yeah. Yeah, and I consider myself an extrovert. So my social battery is significantly larger than a lot of people. That doesn't mean I should be networking more. And I took me a long time to figure out because every time I go to a networking event, what I say, you get 2 to 3 good people. And so every time I go to a networking event, my intention is to connect afterwards with people. Do I have time and space in my calendar to do that? And there needs to be a certain amount of time because that's, getting to build those relationships, expanding my network, helping find the people I can serve, but in the right amount of time and space. If I go to 3 events in one week, my next 2 weeks are going to be crazy. So
Right?
I need to balance that.
Right? I get that. I get that. And the same is true for like whether you're a speaker or I have 1 week out of the month that I'm networking. It's also when we have National Speakers Association. So thank God my Mondays all like it's meetings, right? So and then it's like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, boom, 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 all these different things. And I got to tell you, by Saturday I'm exhausted. But I'm strategic. I know where I'm spending it with the right people I do. I'm with you. I'm only looking to connect with, I say, 1 to 3 people,
Yeah.
right? And that's it. Like that's it. I have, and then here's the thing. What's your thought? I get so excited talking about this because I didn't know it. So when you get done networking, do you like schedule time to then follow up? Like you block time in your calendar to follow
Yes.
up?
Yes. Oh my gosh. And to that point, like one of my biggest pet peeves is when I see business owners go to events and like as a vendor, they have a table set up and they're connecting with people at conferences and they'll have like a sign up. I have signed up for so many of those, like, I legitimately want to learn more about you. Nothing. You just spent all this time and money and effort. But same thing for networking. Like showing up is fun if you enjoy being social. I enjoy being social. It's fun to network and connect and you can build friends and you'll be like, "Hey, how you doing? It's great to see you again." But if you're not connecting with them, going deeper, learning what you can do and following up, what happens now? They're, you know, building that relationship. I'm a huge believer in using a CRM, customer relationship management software, some kind. I have one that I feel is intuitive for me, some way to track that relationship. I have a process. And I'm coming from kind of an ADHD person. This is why I did this because I'm like, I could go and meet lots of people and not remember to do a darn thing. So I have a process. I go to a networking event. I get a business card. I come home. I find them on LinkedIn. And I actually it's really fun. I have a new software now that lets me click a button on LinkedIn and it pulls their information and puts it in my CRM, which is so nice because now
Ooh.
I'm both connected with them on LinkedIn and now their information's in my CRM. And it sets a tag that says this is a new person. So then I will reach out, whether it's on LinkedIn or an email. Hey, let's grab coffee. I want to learn more about your business, see how we can support each other. We'll have that meeting. After we have that meeting, I click another button, which creates a handful of tasks or reminders of what happens after that. I always send a follow-up email. Kathy, do you remember the one we did? Did I do one?
Yep. Well, it's been a hot minute
It's been a
since we
minute.
met.
Yeah. Yeah. I always that there's and that email, part of that email is like, how can I introduce you? What would you like me to say about you when I introduce you to somebody?
Yeah.
Um, and then I'm like, and usually during the conversation, I'm thinking of who would be a good connection for them. So I'll make a note. That's a follow-up later to connect them with somebody else. That helps add value. Then I'll be like, did we talk about National Speakers Association? Oh, I should invite them to the next seminar that we're hosting. And that'll be, an invitation.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at like, what can I do? Inviting them to learn more about my archetypes. Like, what is that that process to help them get to like know and trust me?
Oh, this is so good. This is so good. Oh my goodness. I could talk to you all day long, and there's still a handful of questions we haven't. So we're gonna have to have you back because there's a whole list of things that I wanted to ask you, but we've covered so much goodness. And I know as people are listening to this, they're getting to their destination. So I know you have a gift for our listeners. Please tell us about that.
So, one of my biggest things, you've heard me say it a bunch of times here, is what your personality is helps you understand the way you build relationships, professionally and personally, and how you interact and how you follow up and all the things. It guides all of those pieces. So I have a little online quiz that gives you the initial steps of like where you might land in that world of like which traits are yours. So I'll have a link for you to take this free little quiz and kind of see like what's your blend look like.
Oh, that's juicy. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. And anybody's listening, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
So I always tell people you can always find me on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Bethany George, purple. You'll see it. You kind of can't miss me. And also I'm, online, thesalesmystique.com, my website, and I'm on, Instagram and YouTube. I do a lot of videos as well. So I always try to make fun, interesting content for people.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. And so, for those of you that are driving, get to your destination safely. The links will be in this podcast, so you can just click and link. So, just a few minutes more, if you can hang with us. I'd like to ask you a couple questions just so that we get to know you more personally. Does that sound good?
Just bring it. Yes.
Awesome. So are you a morning or night?
Oh, definitely night.
I love coffee or tea.
I actually do both, but my favorite
Ooh.
is tea. It's green jasmine pearls. They like roll the leaves up, and so when you steep it, they open up, and it keeps the flavor. It's so delicious.
All right, the next time in Ohio, I'm going to come over there and we're going to have some of that because that sounds wonderful. Um, Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
Sweet,
Yeah.
yeah. Now, if you were to have a wonderful dinner, is it at home or out at a restaurant?
Well, my partner is an amazing cook. So he can make really good food at home. But I think at this point in my life, I just enjoy kind of the luxury of going out. And I know he's not having to cook, I'm not having to cook, so I love a nice meal out.
I agree with that. I think getting older, it's like we don't have to, cooking is wonderful, but then there's the dishes
Mhm.
and all that comes into play with that. So there's something to be said for a restaurant.
Yeah, have
So
nice.
on the same food theme, so what's a food you refuse to eat?
Um, liver and onions.
We were just talking about that this morning. I love it. Yes, yes. My father made me eat that stuff. It was yucky.
Yes.
I
Ugh.
right? And then okay, dog or cat?
Cat.
Really?
My kitty cat is actually not hide. She's usually sitting here beside me, but she's not here.
Right? Your kitty cat, your little warmer.
Yeah.
All right. If you were to read a book, which I'm sure well, I can tell by behind you, is it paper, Kindle, and I guess Audible's the one everybody's talking about now?
Yeah. So I will get books. Um there's what's funny is Audible's become the name, but it's like a name brand. It's like Kleenex, right? So
Yes.
I do love listening to a book in the car because I can learn, but I will listen to a book and if I like it, I will buy it. And a number of these books behind me started out that way. So I like to have a physical
Ah.
copy of the book because I can go deeper, I can make notes, I can remember it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you, sister. So I like a lot of books. So I read before bedtime. That helps me. It's usually a fiction to get out.
Yeah.
Um, so paper's always good for that. And then my business books, like I gotta write, make notes, incorporate all that good stuff. So I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay, switching gears a little bit. Beach or mountains?
Mountains. I mean, the beach
Mountains.
is
Oh,
gorgeous, but I love the forests. And little side note, I'm an amateur herbalist, so like I don't just walk through the woods, I'm stopping and analyzing every plant I pass.
oh, I love it. Well, you got to come visit me here in Colorado. All right. If you were to be entertained, is it a movie or like a series?
I do love a good series because
Yeah.
I love the story keeps going on. As long as it doesn't get, it has to have a good, like the characters have to be well developed. Gosh,
Yeah.
I mean, the series I watched recently, I'm like, that is such a stereotype. Come on, you could work a little harder here, people.
Right. It's like you could have stopped at season 2 or 3. Why keep going? But I love that. All right. If you were to move, are you going to run or walk?
I don't know if I understand move. Like if I just like
Like,
get
so if
around.
you were to work out or do
Yeah.
something like that, and it's not necessarily workout, but some people are runners, some people are walkers.
I've tried to be the runner. I've tried to do the jogging thing.
Yeah.
And I like a little bit of both. Like I like to do a little bit of jogging because I get bored, but I don't do it long term. I'm like, yeah, like I mentioned, hiking. I'll walk for a little bit and then I have to stop and look at things.
That's true. If you're running, you can't really do that.
Yeah, I like to enjoy the journey.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. So, okay, if have you ever watched the movie Zoolander?
Yes. Yeah, it's been a
Okay.
while.
Love Ben Stiller, the characters in there, Blue Steel, right? So the characters in there all they have walk-on songs. So every time they enter the scene, they have a song. And you're also a speaker. So if you were to have a walk-on song when you enter the room or when you take stage, what would it be?
I'm probably not going to remember the actual song itself because I always have like a new favorite song, but it's definitely like Pink is one of my favorite artists. Um,
Ah,
so like it's a upbeat, positive pop song usually.
yeah.
So it's something like that. There's one right now I'm listening to. Um, it's a they're talking about like we're changing the world. It's gonna be epic. Like I can't remember the words of it right now, but
But you know it, so that's
yes,
it.
yes, yes.
It's good. I love that. So thank you so much, Miss Bethany, for spending time with us and sharing your genius to our audience. We are truly blessed to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
This is awesome. And we're going to have to continue this conversation. So, okay, if you're listening, we're going to bring her back because I think there's just so much we haven't covered. And I know your business is changing and a lot's going on, but what you bring to the table, we all need to know because there's a lot of us out there that are doing this part-time work thing that we're networking, we're getting out there, and there's things we need to know. So your genius is needed. So thank you for spending time with us.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, my listeners, thank you for tuning in to Breaking Bad Communication. If today's episode sparked a new perspective or gave you a tool that you can actually use, well, then we're winning. That's what we wanted to do. And if you like what you heard, if you have a comment, we'd love to hear your feedback. So post something in the comments. Tell us your takeaway. Let us hear from you. What's going on in your noodle about today? Wasn't this just powerful? I truly think it was. And remember, powerful communication isn't about saying more, it's about saying what matters with confidence, clarity, and purpose. So until the next time, keep showing up, keep speaking up, and let's keep breaking bad together.
Love it. Awesome.